Adult children of narcissists often struggle with a distorted set of kind of subconscious core beliefs. And one of these core beliefs that emerges when your parent's a pathological narcissist is this idea that everyone's out to get us, right? That everybody has ulterior motives, that we can't trust what people are saying, right? When you grow up with a pathologically narcissistic parent, you grow up on a psychological fault line. You grow up embedded in a psychological war that you're not really equipped to fight. That any relationship with a narcissist is a tug of war for reality. And so even when you're an adult, you end up losing the war before you understand it's going on. When you're a child, you have no chance. And so the parent's narcissism is shaping the internal life of the child. It's shaping their subconscious. It's shaping the way that they interact with self, other, and the world. And so it's not surprising that this lack of trust emerges, right? This lack of trust in self, this lack of trust in other people, because we are constantly worried that there's something going on with our parents, that they don't have our best interests in mind because they don't, that what they're saying and what they're doing are two separate things because they are, right? This gap between what a narcissist says and what a narcissist does, this is where all the dysfunction is created in the child trying to figure out what's what in a culture that's telling them to trust their parents, that's telling them that their parents love them, that's telling them that their parents have their best interests in mind. The reality is the narcissistic parent sabotages their children's lives. It's sabotage. It's not even neutral. It's sabotaging the children's ability to grow into functional human beings, right? Because the most damage a narcissistic parent does is when they're actually trying to help in a lot of ways. We have kind of characterized and defined narcissistic abuse through the lens of these kind of isolated instances of abuse, gaslighting, breadcrumbing, love bombing. But the reality is narcissistic abuse, when properly defined, is an entire system related to the limitations and the reality of what a narcissist is, how they are compulsively behaving, and how that shapes the child's internal life. And so if you're struggling with recovery from this stuff, it's important to understand that these are trauma responses, that we grew up in a psychologically traumatic environment. And one of the byproducts is how our internal conception of reality is distorted, right? And so, it's a tricky needle to thread because some people are out to get us. And that the kind of healing isn't to blindly trust everybody. It's to practice discernment. It's to understand when we're kind of responding from a triggered trauma response and when we're kind of like responding from an intentional assessment of a potentially dangerous human being. And so this idea between compulsion and intent is really important when we're looking at our behaviors, when we're examining our internal life and how we're actually operating.